This is your African God, Tiberius Asante, and I'm here at Four Corner Fandemonium.
It's showtime! Woo!
Rest in peace.
Welcome to Four Corner Fandemonium. I'm your host, Jay Will, the voice of independent wrestling. And today we have the African God, Tiberius Asante. How you doing today, bro?
Man, it feels good to be here today, you know. I'm just happy to be out here at this workhorse, the show we got going on at the Delaware State Fairgrounds.
Yes,
So
a free show. A free show. I love it. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, you see, I came from Baltimore, and I moved down here to Delaware about 2006. I would say 2011 is when I met. No, 2007 is when I met the Briscoes.
Okay.
And I met Jay, and then I met Mark, and they saw a couple kids that were trying to do something, and they seen we had something and started training us.
That's what's up. Shout out to the Briscoes. Shout out
rest in peace to my dog, my brother
Jay. And shout out to Mark. He's still fucking pushing. I see him on TV everywhere. He's doing this thing, holding it down, man.
He is, man. He's doing it big.
All right. So, what schools you done attended so far?
Schools that I've been to. First, it was Spine Busters, which was in Farmington, Delaware, the Auto Exchange. Okay. And then I took a little hiatus because I had my son. Gotcha. I got into Workhorse Training Facility. Okay. And I've been there since. It's been about a year and a half now.
Okay.
So.
Shout out to Workhorse as well. Every time I've came by to do an interview with somebody or go over some plans with either Sean Hardy or Sean Carlson, I stayed and I looked at the training, and it's always a family atmosphere. It's not nobody trying to one-up each other. Everybody's there trying to get it together, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, man, it's a brotherhood of family, and it's the most unique training system that I've ever came across. And I'm not going to put it on here because it's trademarked, but yeah. It is the most unique training system that I've ever been through. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've seen from the beginning of me going, skipping a couple of weeks and coming back, like the growth in the guys that had just started, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. Ridiculous. It's like, crazy.
Guys like Trucker Josh, Deep Pockets, like I've seen them when they were just kind of getting their feet wet.
That's what I'm gonna call it.
It seemed like in no time they just jumped out of nowhere and they're doing the damn thing.
They are. Tiny Tim is the one to do.
Yes,
crazy.
Definitely.
That's
Tiny
crazy.
Tim. He just came out of nowhere with it, and a big fan favorite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, growing up, like, who was some of your favorite wrestlers?
Growing up, off the top, it's Kane. Kane was like the big thing that I saw.
Gotcha.
Because I didn't even like watch wrestling at first. Like I did, but I was limited because I was in the city and we didn't have cable.
Yeah.
As soon as I came down to my grandmother's house in Salisbury, Maryland, and lived with my dad. Man, I started watching WWF Raw at the time, and I seen it was I can't remember the pay-per-view. I want to say it was Bad Blood or King of the Ring when Kane came into the steel cage with the door off. And I was just like, yo, who is this dude that looks like Jason Voorhees? Yeah. And I was obsessed.
Yeah, it was real creepy when he first came.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, I didn't know what to expect. I just knew it had to be something to deal with The Undertaker because he's the only person.
I couldn't. At first, I couldn't figure it out.
He really matched his mystique, and it's real crazy how that happened.
Yeah, and then another one, like, and I didn't like him at first, but then once I learned the game, I was like, yo, Triple H is the GOAT. Yeah. Triple H. That was another guy that was like, hated him, but I loved him at the same time.
And I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan as well, so it's like, I love the way he's like just stuck to his hip and learned what he could.
Oh, yeah, they were like
twins. His part. He just played his part and waited his time, and as soon as Shawn handed the baton over to him, he took that thing and fucking ran with it, man.
Ran.
Yeah, so in your career so far, how have you accomplished anything that you thought you wouldn't?
Oh, this is a good one. So I went to Unsanctioned Pro. I want to say it was like 2022, earlier that year. And I met Big effing Vin. And I said to myself, I was like, man, that'd be cool if I got to wrestle him. So I put him on my little wish list, not thinking nothing of it. Also, O'Shea Edwards. A whole calendar year later, I get to wrestle Big effing Vin in a 6-man scramble match, and then that's when I got to wrestle O'Shea Edwards, and I had no clue that it was going to happen.
That's crazy, man.
So and I got Jacob Fatu on there. So Fingers crossed,
that
because
can come
I
around
want
too.
that.
I met him a couple of times up in Philly when they was running Fusion at the 2300 Center.
Okay.
So, yeah, I even made him a custom shirt where it says MLW. It said marijuana limits weakness. He's the high chief. He got his shit going on. And he fucking
dope.
loved it, man.
Yeah, that's dope.
So, your matches that you've had, besides the ones that your dream matches that you've already accomplished, like, what are some of your favorite matches that you've had?
I gotta say, one of my top matches right now that I love. Even I still watch it sometimes. So there's a guy named Rick Reeves, and he comes from like down in the Caroline and Virginia area, and I met him at Pure Pro Wrestling, which is ran by Jimmy Love.
Okay.
And we had our first match, and it was just like magic. Then we had our second match, and then that was just crazy. So right now, he's like my top. You know what I mean?
That's
like, I'm waiting for this part 3 so we can finish this chapter.
It's like the chemistry is just there.
Yeah, it's just there.
That's what's up. What was your most memorable storyline from shows back in the day, like SmackDown, Raw, Nitro, whichever one you watched? What was your
most memorable? Because it always sticks in my head is when Undertaker kidnapped Stephanie, and they're all, Vince is playing it like, we gotta find her, get her together, everyone.
Yeah.
Then you find out, it was me, Austin.
Dog.
It was me all along. You never trust the boss.
Mm-mm.
That one was crazy because the twist, that twist at the end of him being the one that set up. And the whole time, kid not being smart at all, I'm thinking this is real.
And the crazy thing with Vince, it might not have been him all along, but he seen how it was going, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm taking credit for this one."
Oh yeah,
I'm definitely taking credit for this one. Like, this was all me.
It's too good not to pass up.
All right, so your WCW and WWF dream match. Who would you see yourself against from WCW?
WCW. I would have loved to wrestle Diamond Dallas Page.
That would have been
because Diamond Dallas is a genius at this stuff, and I can only imagine how he could have just either getting us both over with the crowd, but his mind is just one of a kind.
Yeah, and him getting in at a late age, like his 30s, and,
which
and
crazy.
Still having a great fucking career. That is ridiculous. So who in WWF, WWE, who would you have your dream match with?
If he was still alive, God rest his soul, Umaga. I would have loved. See, I got this thing about Samoans, man. I got to get in the ring with some Samoans. They're some horses.
Yeah,
and Umaga would have been like the, whew.
That you would have got tested on.
Oh yeah, that would have been the one.
You would have needed some ice packs and a couple.
Oh yeah, I would have loved it too. Those were the badges of honor.
All right, so out of our history of African American wrestlers, one of my favorites being Ron Simmons, because he's the first African American I witnessed become heavyweight champion and everything. So, like, who's your top 5?
See, I always put Bad News Brown.
Okay.
There's another guy named Big Leroy Brown. I watched some of his stuff, and his stuff is more like Memphis, way old school back in the day. Because I was a kid, and at the time, The Rock, because he was the only black person really on TV being pushed in our face at the time. Booker T, got to give him an honorable mention.
Definitely.
And Mark Henry. Like, Mark Henry is a beast.
I have a wrestling belt. It's a Stone Cold Steve Austin heavyweight championship belt. But the only signatures I've had on it so far has been Tony Atlas and Ron Simmons.
Nice.
And I met them both in Delaware at shows and everything. And the last signature I just got was Sting. I wanted the last one to be Mark Henry.
Yeah, that's still fire.
I couldn't pass. Sting's my favorite wrestler of all time.
Right, you can't pass that up.
I paid for one signature, so I'm sitting here with like 3 different things, and I'm like, man, do I pay for another signature, or do I was like, man, it's got to be the belt.
Got it, because when you're going to come across that again,
Yeah, especially him still active wrestling. It's not like he was a vet. Like Jerry the King Lawler was there. I got his signature, but he didn't get to sign the belt or whatever. It was Sergeant Slaughter was there. I even got to talk to Tommy Dreamer and everything. He gave me some podcast advice and all that. So that was a good night in New Jersey. A good night of wrestling. But like you said, never know when that's going to happen again.
Yeah, you never
got to take that opportunity. All right. Well, where you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but as long as things keep going the way they're going, and I keep, following this path that God has put me on, I see myself at least making it to Impact.
And I can see that too. Well, from the time I first started seeing you till now, it's like your matches keep progressively getting better and better. You're understanding who you are, what your role is, and you're just freaking embracing it. It's phenomenal. And I can tell that the training system that you're in helps out a hell of a lot.
Phenomenally.
It's like they get you on the right path of what you're supposed to be. A lot of wrestlers come in, they want to do something that they want to do, but they don't really know how to do it. They got to do what they're supposed to do first.
Yep. And I'll use me as a big example, bro. I didn't even know I had one. I had an ego. But going through this training school, it has taught me so much stuff, like the respect, learning to give respect, to get respect, all this like stuff I knew, but I didn't know that I had an attitude towards it. But now it's made me a better man. Yeah,
definitely. It's definitely like I'm a veteran of the United States Army, and I realized when I joined when I was younger, I thought I knew everything. Then when I got in and basic training broke my ass down,
right.
I ain't know shit at all. So it's like I completely understand that. It's like hopefully in the future I'm trying to get a couple of things together first, but I'm trying to make a stop to workhorse trainer and center myself.
Oh yeah, I definitely would love to have you down there, man.
Yeah, I want to get my ref on, and I want to be a manager.
Oh man, you definitely got to come down.
Yeah,
I can see you doing that manager.
Yeah, I've seen it plenty of times. I've talked to Everest and joked with him about it and everything. I want freaking Banks, you, and Everest, and I want to just travel around and just beat people the fuck up. And I want to talk shit while y'all just beat people the fuck up.
That's what it is, man. The time is now, then, man. Don't sleep on that.
No, I'm definitely not. I've been in coordination with Sean Carlson and everything. I'm more than welcome there. Good. He's already told me. So I'm just trying to make sure my ducks is in a row before I start. Because I want to give my full commitment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But, man, I definitely appreciate you down here. We're in Harrington, Delaware right now at a free show, 3 free shows that they ran. If you didn't get it, 1CW does stuff like this all the time. Workhorse Training Center is always around with guys doing great things. So if you're not with it, come down to Houston, Delaware, May 20th. You can see it live and enjoy it for yourself. But I appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, no problem, man. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for listening to Four Corner Fandemonium. Make sure to follow for upcoming shows and follow the Afrikan God, Tiberius Asante, on all social media platforms. Also catch him this Saturday in Chariton, Virginia, and May 20th in Houston, Delaware. And always remember,
reach for the sky, boy.